And this one is called, it's from a chapter, The Liturgy of Our Everydays. Let me take a drink first.
You want to put that mic in the center?
Oh,
That'd be easier.
I'll tell you one more story about my brother. He once told me, that sounded wrong. It's not often you have a stage, you gotta use it. My brother once told me we were watching a movie, and it was like a really action-packed movie, and the sound of the guy breaking his bones really sounded throughout the film in the room, and he said, "You know how they make that sound?" And of course I'm like sixth grade and like all ears about my big brother, and I said, "What?" And he said, "They put a microphone in the guy's thumb and it breaks." And I believed him.
It's celery.
Okay, so here's a section from the Liturgy of Our Everydays. I can recall a time when I was with my son in the middle of the night. He was 18 months old and was fighting another ear infection. He was taking the pink stuff, and I had given him the cherry Tylenol that night, but he was still up in the middle of the night because he needed to be held. I sat in the living room, our living room, rocking him in the chair that Matt's great aunt gave us. It's not one of those comfy gliders from Babies R Us. This is a chair that has rocked many babies over the past century, and it shows in the softness of its wooden edges and the barely audible creaks of its made by each rock. The street light was blazing directly outside our bay window, and the sound machine was still on in Turner's room, adding a gentle purr to the room. Turner was rubbing the back of my neck with his chubby little hand, while I patted him on his back and sang whatever lullaby I could half remember at the time. He fell asleep as I became wide awake. I kept rocking, holding on to his powdery sweet smell as a sacred moment was ushered in with his baby incense. Nothing else was required of me. In a rare moment, I didn't feel the need to do anything else. The moment itself was entirely enough. And I felt a rush of relief and clarity around our little huddle on the chair. At the time, I was really confused about my next best vocational step in life, and very little seemed clear as that action did that night. I was working at Boston College in campus ministry and was wondering if it was really what I was called to do. I was praying about it and seeing a spiritual director to think through what being called meant now that I had a child. But I was constantly wondering about what my purpose was and how I would fulfill it in the way my life was evolving. But not on this night. With Turner in my arms, a confidence about my purpose washed over me and was clearer than on any other night and any other deliberate attempt to unlock the answer. On that night, while I rocked him, I discovered an essential characteristic of how God calls me to live. My discovery was simple. We are here to take care of each other. In the midst of simply doing what I had already agreed to do, I received an answer to the angst and prayers about what I thought I ought to be doing. I didn't know yet what that meant in terms of my career, but peace washed over me, and I realized that I had much less to figure out than I had to simply live. I will go, Lord, if you lead me. This commitment felt doable again because I knew that God was actually leading me in the basics of my life. If I paid attention to what existed already, I would find what else I needed to create. I felt a deep sense of trust again because I knew that my life had an ongoing purpose that would continue to be revealed. That hymn was the last lullaby I sang to Turner before putting him back in his crib. Rocking Turner was a knock answered. My faith has changed because I caught its sacred potential before life continued on as normal. Faith has to be personal and part of our everyday existence. It won't always be, well, that's a reference to the other section. It won't always be some clearly defined moment of peace around a nagging question. But our faith will happen on the holy ground that is our life if we see ourselves as priests, prophets, and kings. That is, we are ordained, inspired, and dethroned, simply because we have been created. When we do this, we will expect to find ourselves as the very conduits for what is holy. Our lives will do the sacred writing that lays down the tradition for any faith community. I remain Catholic because my faith doesn't revolve around proving my Catholicity. My faith revolves around finding God in my life. Thank you. So much, and I see some friends in the other room. I'm going to do one more section in about an hour, I think. I'm not sure what time it is, but please stay, enjoy the drinks and company, and I'm just so grateful that you're here. Thank you.